Okay, so let's do some Neoregelia hybridization. Selected a few options. This one here is Neoregelia Mac White Whopper. I've also got Bad Boy Brian. I've also got Scarface. And I've also got an Eva hybrid. Now the Eva hybrid is marginetted, meaning white outerling. Cannot use the seed that develops from here, however can use the pollen and transmit the pollen to a non-variegated plant if I choose to. But what I'm doing at the moment is I'm working on these two big ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the pollen from Bad Boy Brian, and I'm using a zip tie to do this, and the reason I'm doing that is because it's black and so it's really easy to see the pollen as it comes off. You see the pollen? That's enough pollen to do literally hundreds of flowers. But what we'll be doing is just moving this pollen. Now I'm going to come over here to my Mac White. I have 2 flowers out today. I had 2 flowers out yesterday as well. And I'm going to just insert my zip tie. Now the flowers of Mac White are way bigger than the flowers of Bad Boy Brian. So I need to get the pollen way down to where the stigma is, which is, the stigma way down the bottom. So I'm just inserting that and then removing it, making sure there's no more pollen. That flower's done. I'm just going to come back here and I'm going to grab some more pollen. So as you see with Bad Boy Brian, it's a really nice median form of Neoregelia. By doing this to Bad Boy Brian, potentially I could be self-pollinating it. Most Neoregelias don't accept their own pollen because they've been hybridized so many times. Alright, so we're just going to whack the pollen in there. Nice clean as it comes out. Now, what we'll do from there, because I'm doing this particular plant only with the same pollen at this stage, so I'm using white tags, and in my diary I will be writing white tags equal Bad Boy Brian. Now these couple, which is Scarface, which is a beautiful plant and there's nothing wrong with it. This is a nice Scotag hybrid. This one here is a Peter Kilpatrick hybrid. Now what I'm going to do is I'd like to see a bit more colour in that one. Let's say, nothing wrong with Scarface, beautiful plant, but let's say I want to put a bit of colour in it. So let's grab some pollen from our Eve across. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that pollen across here to Scarface. Now, as I said, they don't often take their own pollen, and that's that lovely pollen on that. How about we put it back? Unlikely that I'll be able to use the seeds from this one. I've tried before, they just end up all being albino. Okay. So we'll just continually transfer the pollen across. Once I've gone through this process into Scarface, I'll select another tag, and in this case I'm going to go with a green tag. And so in this one, because potentially they've selfed, I'm just going to slip in to those particular flowers these tags. Now the flowers will close up overnight and they'll hold those little tags in place forever and a day. And for the other flowers, I'm going to put in some red tags, and again keep documentation of these. Now people ask me, what are the tags? So tags I always do in advance, And what they are good old bread bag tags, and they've been cut on an angle. So you end up with these little slivers because you end up with a nice pointy piece to pop in. Enough space on top for you to actually put a code if you want to put a code, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then you can add that to your book. Whereas if you can colour code the way that I can at the moment, just using a few different colours, that's what we do. Now these seeds take months now to continue this process. So for the next few weeks, the flowers will open from the outer all the way through to the inner. And each of those that are tagged, like these ones, if it develops seeds in the base, then you know your hybridization potentially has been successful, and you grow them on and see what happens. And that's how you go about doing Neoregelia hybridization. You need your flowers dry. So in this case, the flowers have been the wells have been punctured to allow some water out. They've also been tipped out. They're in a patio area. If you move your plants from a high light area to a lower light area, you can slow the flowering process down. So they like to be kept in the same amount of light preferably, but because of all of our wet conditions, this is the only option I've got at the moment, just on the edge of the balcony. This one here has only just started to flower, so there are literally hundreds of flowers here to open, so there'll be lots of different varieties of hybridization, more pollen being added to this big teethy one to try to add some colour, variety, variegation, whatever. Just a few differences. Nothing wrong with this giant plant. It's a great sunning loving big plant, but hey, that's why we do some hybridization, just to do a little bit of experimentation. And that's my lesson on how to do some Neoregelia hybridization. Easy. Everybody can go out and give it a go. Documentation, incredibly important. Don't forget that. Alright, happy gardening. Enjoy.